So Marvel just put out the very first issue of a new comic called Wolverine Revenge. Now, I saw this in the previews and as they were promoting it, I had no idea what it was about, so I didn't know what to expect when opening up this book. I knew going into it that it was going to be an ongoing series, meaning that it's not a limited or set number of issues. So when you have a new series called something Revenge, it's like, how are you gonna base a whole series off of, like, what is this going to be? So on the very first page, we see what I believe are Savage Land natives, and I'm pretty sure these were created in Jonathan Hickman's Avengers run. I think they might have been from before, I'm not sure, but they're just going through the jungle, talking to themselves, trying to motivate themselves to be brave and stuff, and we see a huge dinosaur step. So if you're not familiar with this Savage Land area, that's basically what it is. It's the Savage Land. There are different species that don't exist anywhere else. There are dinosaurs still alive, and there is very commonly Wolverine. For some reason, he is in this place a lot in stories, and it's quite fitting considering how many series he has where he's just an unhinged savage. Literally, one of my favorite series of his is called Savage Wolverine, and what do you know, he's here too, riding on the back of a dinosaur, kind of acting as the backup to these natives, asking them, what are we looking for again? And they say, a great beast. Normally it left us alone, but something changed when the sky flashed purple. It's been attacking our village, it's been hunting us. They then hear a twig snap and say, it's here, stay close, be strong. If we are together, nothing can stand against us. Nothing can, and they all look up in fear, and then they just start running, and Wolverine just sits there relaxed, saying, yeah, that's usually how it goes. So much bark, but so little bite. And we see this great beast that's been hunting them, about ready to pounce before sending Wolverine flying, before he jumps back into action, gets bit up by the dinosaur, and stabs it from inside the mouth. It then spits him out in pain, before he goes underneath the belly, starts cutting it open, and saying, I came down here to unwind and unplug, and then you made the mistake of interrupting my vacation. And he charges at this thing. We see a huge blue laser shooting straight through the head of this T-Rex and killing it instantly. Now, who killed this T-Rex? Nick Fury himself, along with some other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, stand triumphant over Wolverine before Wolverine says, you better have a good reason for being here, and an even better one for interrupting my fun. Nick then gives a condescending smile, saying, my god, you really don't know, do you? While you've been down here, the entire world has lost its mind, and worse than that, it's on its last leg. I need you, Logan. America needs you. Wolverine turns away and says, hate to break it to you, bub, but I'm Canadian. Bad news on that front. I'm sorry to say there really isn't a Canada anymore, so I figured you might make an exception. We then understand the scope of this event Nick Fury is talking about, when Wolverine boards a helicarrier filled with all the iconic S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, Clay Quarterman, Maria Hill, Dum Dum Dugan, as well as fellow heroes Captain America and Winter Soldier. And in front of this whole team, Nick Fury paints the picture. We're estimating that 100 million people are already dead, but I suppose we should be grateful. Asteroid M came in at an angle and detonated above Quebec. This affected all of North America and most of Northern Europe and Asia. And what? Wolverine says, you just happen to be lucky enough to be on a helicarrier, shielded from the blast, just completely safe? No, Nick says, we were actually on the other side of the world running an operation near Perth. That's the only thing that saved us. Logan, the S.H.I.E.L.D. fleet had 20 fully functioning helicarriers in operation before Asteroid M blew up. You're now looking at the last 3 helicarriers. We're all that S.H.I.E.L.D. has left. Are you sure we're not focusing on the wrong thing, Nick? Captain America chimes in. Shouldn't we be helping to save as many people as we can, not running a military op? Nick then explains, Cap, an EMP was released when Asteroid M blew up. It fried absolutely everything. There is not a single working phone, computer, light bulb, train, plane, anything for thousands of miles that will ever work again. The only way to save people is to find some way to turn the lights back on. That's what we're doing. And to do that, we need to go to Tunguska Station, which is being operated by the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, which we believe is currently being run by Mastermind. Your job is to head into the base, secure it, and extract the seed, the core of the base. If we steal that, we can figure out how to get the lights back on everywhere. If you're successful here today, the entire world is saved, because without the infrastructure of these other continents, the rest of the world is going to suffer. Failure today means that billions of people die tomorrow. So failure is not an option. Can I count on you? And of course, nobody says no. They're all in, so Nick finishes this off by saying, alright, we'll be at the site in 20. Everybody, get right with God and do your job. And we get a glimpse of Mastermind in his base, being able to detect that they're coming. Remember, Nick said that they only have 3 helicarriers left. That's it for S.H.I.E.L.D. And as he feels them close in, Mastermind blows up one of them. Nick, looking from his helicarrier, realizes that it's not going to stop there and tells them to jump. And as they do, as everyone plummets to the ground, the helicarrier blows up behind them. And I might be wrong, I can't tell, tell, but it seems like Nick Fury dies in the explosion as well. So this is it. This is the last line of defense. The only heroes we have. They all separate, going their own ways before heading into the base, trying to find an entry point so they can get in undetected. We follow Quartermain as he heads down a hill, going through the snow, before someone comes up from behind, grabs him by the head, and cuts his throat open. We then see another SHIELD agent bleeding out into the snow, killed by someone who very obviously seems to be Omega Red. Another SHIELD agent down by Sabretooth, before we see Maria Hill with their head chopped off. And it's at this point in the story that you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. What is going on here? How are all of these characters, these major people, gonna be killed off? All of America, all of Canada, all of these places are gonna be completely destroyed in an emergency state? Is this even canon? Apparently not. Like I said, I didn't know what to expect going into the series, but I thought it was part of the rest of the X-Men relaunch that we've been covering on this channel. The whole playlist is here if you want to go check that out. I thought this was gonna have something to do with it, and I was always confused about that because we were gonna have another Wolverine series starting up at #1 as well. So I was like, how does this fit in? It doesn't. It seems like it's supposed to be its own canon. It seems like an Old Man Logan in progress. So this, I don't know if it's an alternate universe or if it's just not supposed to actually fit in anywhere. So basically, treat it like Injustice. All of these deaths are likely permanent, and you can probably look forward to a lot of them. Now, getting back into it, we see Winter Soldier get grabbed by Sabretooth, and then we cut to Captain America literally sledding down to the base before being grabbed by Omega Red. And last but not least, we see Wolverine sniffing the air, saying, I know you're all there. I can smell the blood on each of you. And then we see Omega Red, Sabretooth, and Deadpool standing before him, about ready to take him out, for Sabretooth says, the boss actually wants a word with you before we shut your eyes for good. We then see these three waking up in chains. So while they did kill all the SHIELD agents, these three are still alive, but you can see on their chests, they cut them open a little bit, put something inside, and then sewed the skin back together. What happened? Cap asks. There's something else going on here. I was awake when they did it. To your chests. I don't know how they overcame my healing factor, but they cut me open, stuck something in there. I'm guessing they did the same to you. We then see Mastermind with the rest of the Brotherhood standing over them, saying, I have a brilliant and gifted mind. So we took a large number of permutations and combinations of Omega Red's diseases before we found one just strong enough to temporarily stunt your powers so we could get something inside you. A bomb. We put one in all three of you. Not surprising with this bunch of bastards, Wolverine says, but I expected better out of you, Petey. We then see Colossus standing over him as part of the Brotherhood, saying, and why is that? Because you believe your cause is right? That the West is owed something and we should simply let you take it? Referring to the seed, the core that's gonna help get electricity back on. You put a bomb in my chest and you're gonna lecture me? Perhaps I should let you go home to help your people prepare for a cold winter and to bury those who do not survive it, Colossus offers. Maybe and maybe not, Deadpool says. But just so you know, the bombs were my idea. Think of it as a deterrent. See, I got my finger on the naughty button just in case you decide not to leave. But between you and me, I hope you don't, because I really want to mash it. They then take the chains off. They're actually letting them leave to go help their people. And Wolverine stays before saying, yeah, I'm not going to make the trip. I've got unfinished business here. But go. Let everyone know what happened here. See if you can get help. But hurry. He then goes back in and looks up to Colossus saying, you want me to come up there? Or do you want to come down here and explain yourself? What's to explain? Colossus says. We didn't cause any of this. We're just as much victims of circumstance as you are. The asteroid blew up. We had nothing to do with it. And Wolverine says, so you just got lucky and the lights in this place just stayed on. No, Colossus says, that was Unis the Untouchable. He protected this place and he died doing so. We just happened to have the device. And there's the theme for today, Deadpool says. Everybody's gotta go sometime. Better to go out with a bang, I say. Well, that and never trust a man with a bomb. And then he pushes the button, killing Captain America and Winter Soldier and Wolverine himself. So what's next? Mastermind says. Now we take the seed, we take the device, and relight our half of the world. And tomorrow, in the years to come, when the sun rises on new land in the graves of everybody in the West, after they've all died, the world will flourish, knowing that there's no one left to remember them. And we see Wolverine's healing factor come back into play, because apparently the mutations and stuff like that they put into Wolverine's body with the bomb didn't last, so he's still alive, he's still back, and that is how the revenge aspect comes into it. So this was a very, very weird story, and surprisingly, it was written by Jonathan Hickman. That's right, the guy that's built a reputation off of big cosmic team stories. You know, his X-Men, his Avengers, Secret Wars, the new Ultimate Universe, all of this stuff. And now he's writing a simple revenge story, even though it doesn't seem very simple. There seems to be a lot of backstory here. It seems like it's going to be a new line. It's going to be a new story, a new continuity that's going to be really, really interesting. So let me know if you want me to continue covering the story, if you're intrigued with it. Let me know your thoughts on it down below. But yeah, that is the video. Thank you for watching.